is you, you. All I want is you. All I
Happy
want is
birthday
you. All I
to
want
me.
is you.
Happy birthday
All I want is you.
to me.
All I
Thank
want
you,
is you.
Jesus.
'Cause you are forever. And your love.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Victoria Sears, and this is the first episode of The Onion from Hurt to Healing. Okay? Um, Victoria Sears is the name. Born in Norfolk, Virginia, raised in Chesapeake, Virginia. I'm a teacher, mentor, singer, actor, actress, and the list goes on. Rap, yada yada, write, all of that. Poet, yada yada. Um, but what I'm creating this for is not to brag about what I do. It's more so to share my story. I think it's important that it needs to be heard, and the more episodes that you watch, you may agree with me. So I'm not going to talk your head off. I'm going to go into the first topic. The first topic, well, is to explain what the onion means. That's the first topic, okay? I'm going to have possibly two topics in here because one is a surprise, okay? Not many people know this, and I'm going to explain the effects of it. Well, the onion, I compare myself, it's symbolism, to an onion because I have many layers. And the things that I've been through, I feel that God took each layer of me and consistently does and reveals me to me and the places I've been hurt and how I reacted to it and places that I need to heal and etc. But I've learned how healing changes you. It changes your perception on people. That's when you realize pain is actually becomes a filter for how you see people and how you see situations. A lot of times you find people who make mountains from molehills because they are hurt, and they magnify what someone does when it becomes because it's a trigger to something they dealt with in the past. But off the rabbit trail, that's what the onion is for me, and we're gonna go over a few layers, okay? And I'm gonna try my best to go in order and be in detail. Right now, episode 1, this is the first layer. And I call this the first layer because I believe this is one of the roots of what affected my perception of myself, of other people, relationships, and we get all into that. Like, I'm going to tell y'all some stuff that nobody knows, okay? Okay. The first layer is adoption. I was adopted by my grandparents at birth. Well, maybe not, I was under one. It was certain reasons. I'm not going to get into the detail when it comes to my biological parents too much. Me and my mom were great. We have a great relationship now, etc. And I do believe addiction is a sickness, who people have to get help. And she was dealing with that at the time. But my biological father, he just kind of went and did his own thing. It affected me in ways that I did not know until I took the time as an adult to realize that I was making decisions and choices in my life, especially when it comes to friendships or relationships that were unhealthy. I'm gonna just be honest. And I didn't know why. I don't know if you can relate that you end up in poor relationships, people who are needy and etc. It's truly a direct reflection of the first people you loved, right? And a direct reflection of how you feel of yourself. An example for me would be due to the fact I had dealt with a void of not having my mother around and not having my biological father around. Well, my mother was in and out of my life. Give her credit for that. She strived to be a mother in my life, and I would never take that away from her. But when you're younger, you don't understand. And so you think something's wrong with you. Because I'm looking at the situation. I'm like, why did, my biological father sit there and start a whole new family and didn't try to come back for me. That affected me in a way of, I'm like, well, maybe it's something wrong with me. So I started becoming afraid of people just leaving me because I wasn't important enough to keep. I know I had a deep, what I mean? I had a deep perception as a kid. I was like a Dr. Phil at the age of 1.5 or something. I don't know. But that's what I took it as. And throughout, one thing I realized, you can have a mindset year after year after year after year, and it doesn't change all through your adulthood until it's acknowledged, until you acknowledge like something is wrong. And I didn't for the longest because I didn't know, why. I thought just something was wrong with me. Like I said, when it came to uh, people I dealt with, even relationships or friendships, even come to correlating with my mom wise, always ended up with people that were needy, um, that were dependent. And what's interesting? I always ended up with people that had mother issues. That's what I saw, like, was very interesting. Like, even with friendships, I always ended up around people who had, an interesting relationship with their parent, with mostly their mother. Um, I found out that was a direct reflection as well. So, like I was saying, going back to my reflection of myself, I've learned that that type of hurt, um, when it lacks the understanding, and also it leaves a wound. Let's be real. If you grew up without a parent, it bothers you. It does. It did. When you get older, you're like, it's whatever, it is what it is. But you'll be surprised how it affects you. So I really call this whole part of layer one adoption cause and effect, because it was the beginning of a skewed perception, and that's something that I will possibly um, deal with throughout my life. But at the same time, I'm healing. I can't say I never heal from it. Yada yada. Um, so with adoption, like I say, my grandparents raised me, and they did as the best job they could. They made sure we had everything educational wise, we had our roof over our heads, we had food in our stomachs, and I will be forever, forever grateful for that. But as I got older, um, my biological father would come around once in a while, and when I got older, I even attempted, speak and all this other stuff, but he never was the type to really reach out, and I think that always bothered me as well. Like, how do you just have a child and not say anything? But like I said, that affects you in your adulthood. If anybody say, "Oh, that happened when you was a kid," you should be over that. You should be over that. That's done with. Time does not heal all. Stop letting people make you believe that. That is not true. Okay, um, because you can have like 20 years go by and you never actually faced something and dealt with it. Then you know, like I said, in adoption, having a mother who dealing with the sickness of addiction, that was extremely difficult. Because as a kid, I knew something was wrong. I didn't know what. So not only along with feeling like I was given away and not important, I started to see myself that way. Um, and so I would consistently put people before me and do things for people all the time and yada yada, be there for friends all over the time and drop this or be there for family, whatever, and find myself um, whole messing up my own focus and drive, and my goals are not being reached and they're being deferred. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, when I was going to Norfolk State, I'm a Spartan alumni. Um, let's just say I had times where someone needed me and I walked out on a test. Like, it was that deep for me, because this is the vulnerable part I'm about to share with you. To me, that was love. To me, someone making me feel like they need me was love. That I was accepted. That they would take the time to call me and they need something, because that goes along the lines with the adoption as well. And it was because, my mom, she was in and out of being incarcerated. Things happen when you're younger. Like I said, she's a beautiful person, but she's been through some things. And that affected me, where I would talk to her mostly on the phone, and, no one would really answer her, collect calls, and yada yada. I felt like when she needed me, quote unquote, is when I felt the most love. So I end up in relationships and friendships and yada yada, dealing with people that ignited that part of me. And I'm like, oh, they love me because they call me and they want to be around me, and they call me and they want me to pick them up, and they call me, to me that was like, okay. But then when it came to the point of when people grow apart or they no longer needed me anymore, I took it so personally that it hurt deeper than they understood. For them, it wasn't that deep. For me, it was, and I thought something was wrong with them. And that's an interesting point as well. When you don't acknowledge what's going on with you, you'll blame everybody else. And you don't realize that you're blaming everybody else because you really, 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 really think in your mind something's wrong with them. But the truth is, it's the person in the mirror. And it's because of what has happened to you in your childhood and in your past that it's affecting your life. It's been, don't get me wrong, I'm 30 now. And in my 20s is when I actually started to acknowledge this part. It was hard to acknowledge the fact to myself that I had to say to myself, wow, you're not important to you. Wow, you're not okay. That was difficult. That was difficult. And that's because I had to acknowledge a vulnerable, I had a lot of pride. And we'll get to that later on. And that's an interesting story. But I had a lot of pride. And I thought I was good. You know what I mean? I was always the person to help people. Be careful with people like that. I'm saying that because I was one. Always there to help everybody. Always be there for everybody. Always this and always that. And you'll find yourself in a situation where you're at the bottom of the barrel and you're like, okay, who's going to help me? Even when it comes to family, friends, and who you didn't, whatever. If you find yourself always getting the short end of the stick, if you find yourself being the person who's constantly giving out and being drained, and everybody's now fulfilled, and now you're like, okay, who's going to help me now? You have surrounded yourself around the wrong people, and you need to know why. For me, like I said, feeling needed was love. But I knew something was wrong eventually because I'm like, people go and what I'm supposed to do now. And I keep ended up with nothing. So I'm like, what do I supposed to do now? That's when I had got to the point mid-20s where I had, was mostly by myself. My best friend, she's in the Navy. She was off to Spain, and everybody was, gone, doing their own thing. And I'm like, okay. And I heard God say to me, treat yourself how you treat them. And I was like, it was so uncomfortable to me to start off taking care of myself. That's how bad it was. Like, when I started really taking care of me, it was completely uncomfortable. And I was like, it was weird, And here's another issue that can cause. If you deal a lot with loneliness, a lot of times that connects with the reason why you want people in your life. It's that void you're trying to fill of having someone there. Like I said, my reason was I wanted to feel needed all the time. That was love. Because honestly, let's be real. Everybody wants to be loved, right? Everybody wants to be cared for. But how? Do we really know how we want to be loved? Or do we really know that we want to be healed and we haven't acknowledged that we want to be healed? Let's just be real. Are we looking for other people to really heal us? We just don't call it that. We're looking for people to complete us and fulfill us and, and do something for us to make us feel better about ourselves. But the truth is, that's a job that starts between you and God. It's something that goes on within. And no one can really do that for you. So you go searching and searching, getting in relationships, hanging with whoever, so and so, just to feel accepted. You'll be surprised what people will do for acceptance. People will allow a group of guys or a group of girls to jump them inside of a game just to feel accepted. Like literally physically harm you. Like beat the crap out of you. And just to feel accepted. Some people in relationships allow physical, verbal, or emotional abuse because someone accepts them. It's nothing wrong with feeling accepted, but when it's to a point of a desperation, then there's a deeper reason of why you are allowing it. It is. So I'm sharing this with you to honestly encourage you. Number one, the importance of finding your root. You need to know why you do what you do, why you are the way you are. And for me personally, what helped me was my relationship with God. I believe in going to the Creator to know about the creation. He created me, so I believe He knows all about me, right? I think everyone needs to know that, because if not, you will continually affect people, you will hurt people, manipulate, you will use people, and you're not a bad person, you're just a hurting person. You're just a person who's kind of desperate to be accepted and loved. You're a person who just ended up in a situation when they were younger, and their perception has been all types of messed up about oneself and everything, and you haven't even acknowledged it yet. Was it fair? No, not at all. It's not as if you put it on yourself, but it happened. But what are you going to do about it now, right? Like, you can't victimize forever. So that's what I believe. You have to take the time to heal. If you don't, you'll just continue to hurt. All right, so that was my big boom right there. The Onion, that's just the first episode here, and I'm telling you, y'all haven't heard anything. This is just to give you a preview of how things is about to go. And take the time out. I pray that your day is going amazing. I pray that God is having His way in your life. I pray that you're praying, sweetie. I pray that you're praying. I really do want the best for all of you. I love you. Thank you for the time, for listening. But this is just layer 1, adoption. Layer 2 is you will have to see in episode 2. And I will let you know when that will be coming out. But it will be very soon. And I just wanted to talk to you one-on-one. Like this, bareface and all. This is not about making it up and all this other stuff and whatever, and you'll understand more and more my intro the way it is and why I had such a change and the relationships and the heartbreaks I've been through, and the weight lost and the outer appearance change and yada. I mean, I got some ratchet stories for y'all. I'm telling you, you're gonna be like, what? I'm like, yeah, see what happened was. All right, but I am getting ready to log off, and I want you guys to have a beautiful night. Love you all, and thank you for watching The Onion.
I wanna do what you like. 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 When you do what you like, I know it will be right, yeah. I wanna do what you like. I wanna do what you like.